Hello, bonsoir, and welcome to the Get French Football News Show. I'm your host, Nathan Staples, and joining me this week are Eric Devine and Philippe Bargil. With the final international break now in the rear-view mirror, we can now look forward to the final stretch of the Ligue 1 season. The title may already be wrapped up, but there is still plenty to play for, with one team already sealing their fate this weekend. But before we talk about all that and much more, here is the latest news. On Friday, Bordeaux finally righted the ship under Ulrich Rhein, recording their first win since week 26 with a 2-1 victory away to Monaco. The early match on Saturday saw Paris Saint-Germain use Nice as a fine tune-up for their Champions League fixture, battering them 4-1 at home, Zlatan Ibrahimovic notching a hat-trick. Saturday's multiplex also served up its fair share of goals, a brace from Ousmane Dembele steering hosts Rennes past Reims and into a provisional third place in a 3-1 victory, while in Normandy, Morgan Sanson scored a brace, his first Ligue 1 goals in a year, to allow Montpellier to earn a 2-2 draw at Guingamp. Saint-Etienne won at Ajaccio 2-0, moving past Caen, who lost at Toulouse 2-0 and into 6th place. And while it's been acknowledged for quite some time, Troyes' loss against Angers at home 1-0 officially confirmed their relegation. On Sunday afternoon, Lille put themselves forward as potential candidates for Europe, a 3-0 win at Nantes thanks to a brace from Eder, moving the club into 7th, just 2 points behind Saint-Etienne. Marseille's struggles continued as a trip to Corsica saw the club lose 2-1 to Bastia, deepening the worry for manager Michel. In the weekend's final match, a gritty Lyon came from behind to win at Lorient 3-1, in form Alexandre Lacazette scoring 2 goals to give him 6 goals in 4 matches, as Lyon are now clear in 3rd. In Ligue 2, Metz, Le Havre, Lens and Clermont all won as the race for 3rd heats up, with the Paris derby between Red Star and Paris FC being played at the time of recording. The results at the moment see 5 teams within 5 points of that 3rd place. And that's all for the headlines this week. And remember, to keep up to date, head on over to our website at www.getfootballnewsfrance.com and follow us on Twitter at GFFN. We start this week with the race for 2nd place, because the race for the Champions League spots so far have taken a big turn this weekend after Monaco were beaten at home on Friday. A win for Lyon on Sunday evening moved them to just 3 points behind the Principality Club, and Rennes are just another point back from them. So, Philip, with the weeks running out, how do we see this race for the now opening up for 2nd spot going?
Yeah, we see it definitely as the Monaco versus Lyon battle not to finish 3rd rather than the one for 2nd spot. So Monaco lost at home to Bordeaux on Friday evening, which really felt more like Bordeaux's win than Monaco's loss. It was very much a confidence boost, morale boosting win for Ulrich Rhein and his first win for Bordeaux, and it is a big deal really, because this is only Monaco's 3rd home defeat of the season, and it went all right. But not only that, but it completely puts 2nd race back on, but only if Lyon were to win last night at Lorient, which really didn't look all that likely last night, because Lorient did open the score. They were quite dominant in midfield. I thought that Walid Meslou had a wonderful game, and that Lyon, they were a bit struggling there. And Lecomte didn't have was not overworked. He was not much more overworked than Lopez. And then Ghezal stole the show. I mean, he had a couple of chances where he did his move, the moves that we are now very, very much used to. Him coming from the right, coming deep inside, either challenging the defender or having a shot a la Arjen Robben. Now, we did that a few times last night, and Lecomte did that very, very well. But Ghezal is really finally adding to his game this finishing touch, because if Lyon do win that as a game at Lorient last night, which Lorient is not an easy place to come and win at. I think this was their first home defeat of the year, I reckon.
I will double check that before you carry on.
It was their last home defeat was against Monaco, 17th of January. It was a while. And then what Gizal does is pass the ball to Lacazette. Lacazette makes it 3-1, game over. And this means that Lyon are now just 3 points behind Monaco with a vastly superior goal difference, because we've talked about Monaco being very good at the back, of being very, very solid. Their goal difference is really not very good. I mean, it's okay, plus 11, but Lyon's attack warrants them to have a much better goal difference than plus 11, so they're now on plus 18, and Lyon are going to host Monaco in the penultimate game, so that's their last home game of the season, and it really is great for French football, but I fully expect those two to fight it out between second and third. Even though Rennes are really not that far behind, but I really do expect the table to stay, at least the top three to stay the same.
Eric, let's jump off the point about Lyon's game first of all. I mean, and it took some character to come from behind, but also their attack was really, really good last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately, I only saw the highlights. Sorry. Unfortunately, I only saw the highlights. I didn't have a chance to watch the game. Maybe as you can tell from my voice, recovering from being a little bit ill.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Valbuena came back. Fekir is still to come back. There's only more depth coming for this Lyon side. And Ghezzal and Cornet and Lacazette really seem to have formed a really adept front three. And Lyon just really look fantastic going forward. This is perhaps not quite at the level they were last year when they were playing in that 4-4-2 diamond. But the fact of the matter is, you can make a good case that aside from Paris Saint-Germain, Lyon are the informed attacking team in the league. And again, the defense has improved as well under Genesio, and there's really a lot of positives to look at for this team, and they definitely control their own destiny. I was surprised to see them come together as well as they have. I mean, I thought Lacazette was the lost cause. I thought they should have sold him last summer, but now he's on 16 goals for the season. He scored in each of his last 10 goals since the break. He looks a player who's finally matured and is determined to lead this team back into the Champions League and show that he really is, a top class player and not the sort of indifferent presence that we'd seen through the first half of the season. So a lot of credit should go to Genesio for shifting the system and realizing what level of talent this team has and how he can make it work. I mean, this is the thing. We've seen this again with Remy Gard in the past, having the faith to bring through these young players and give them a chance. I mean, Ghezzal had a couple opportunities last season, for example, not so much Cornet. But Genesio is someone who's seen these players grow and develop, having been at the club for a decade, and he knows how to wring the best out of them, and he's definitely doing that. Pardon me. But going back to something Philip mentioned there, I think that Bordeaux on Friday evening looked fantastically well organized. Their defense was swarming Monaco whenever they got forward, and they really didn't offer much. But that being said, Monaco really was some horrible marking on the 2 goals from for Bordeaux. It was basically the same goal twice, just a
it was 2 corners, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Free header at the back post both times. One time it was Thomas Torre, and I'm blanking on who scored the second, but Unas.
So yeah.
Right. So that's got to be incredibly frustrating. After how well Monaco performed prior to the international break, playing that 3-man defense and looking absolutely stellar against Paris Saint-Germain, to then revert to that sort of performance, it's just mind-boggling. I I do hope that Monaco can reach the Champions League, but I really question the sustainability of their project should they fail to.
Yeah, and it was a strange game, the Monaco Bordeaux one. I mean, I thought Bordeaux, like you say, were excellently organised, but they had nothing really in an attacking sense, and they've scored two of the simplest goals you'll see. If Leonardo Jardim had any more here, he'd be tearing it out, certainly, because they will give you managers nightmares, really, that set-piece goals like that are just gifts. And on another day as well, I still don't understand why Wagner Love's goal has been ruled out. I'm not 100% certain why they've decided to not give that.
The penalty?
It seemed to. I was unsure.
He stopped forward momentum while he was taking the shot. You can see on a replay, he actually stops. His foot fails to continue to go forward, and actually comes back. And at that point, Prior's moved off his line to make the save, but the referee spots it, and also because he had hesitated, there's encroachment from a Monaco player. So there's two reasons it could have been disallowed.
So is that a retake, or that was what I was thinking, because they completely ruled it out, didn't they? So I'm not sure whether it's a bit of a grey area, at least, admittedly, of what you would do in that sort of situation.
If it's for encroachment, the player on the attacking team and it's scored, it's retaken. But I think if it's on the taker, I guess it's just ruled out because he signaled an indirect kick.
Yeah, it was just. It seemed odd at the time, at least. Anyway, the commentator was just as confused as I was. But
they looked in a bit of a Marseille form at home, Monaco. I mean, I know it's only been 2 games, but they didn't play well against Reims. That was now 3 weeks ago, and they didn't play well. Didn't play particularly well against Bordeaux, I thought, on Friday, especially defending extremely badly, but playing not too badly away from home with that win at the Parc des Princes proves. But I don't know if it's a pattern there, because they're still not in great form. You know, it's only 1 win in 5. You know, to get second, I would hope that this is not good enough to get second. Hopefully.
Well, they've got to go to Lille this weekend. I mean, that's not the form Lille are in. That's not easy either.
Obviously, they have to go to Rennes as well, April 24th, and then they have to go to Lyon on the second from last game. So. Yeah, no, it's. I do hope that it'll be a challenge. I mean, I'm almost certain that Monaco it's not second. It's not Monaco's to lose. I'm pretty certain of that. I'm sure that Lyon will want to avoid the playoff spot, and will make a right fight of it. And I actually reckon that they have more about them going forward than Monaco do. Which is why I do. I mean, I know we're not supposed to be biased there, but I really do want Lyon to make second.
Well, looking at, like you say, Monaco's recent results, they'll only have themselves to blame if they don't make that second spot their own. I mean, they've won 1 game in the last 5. That was against Paris. It was the difficult one against Paris Saint-Germain. The other games, it's Bordeaux, Reims, Caen, Nantes. You'd hope they'd pick up more than 3 points from those kind of games, and now it's allowed the other ones to catch up as their schedule gets harder. But
yeah, and if you look at the last 6 games, basically, I mean, I know that Marseille at home is not exactly supposed to be a tough game on paper, but usually when Monaco hosts Marseille, it's basically the whole of Marseille that goes to Monte Carlo and goes to the game, and it's basically another home game for Marseille, which is again not a particularly daunting task for whoever visits. But of the 6 games remaining, on paper you only see Guingamp and Montpellier at home, which are winnable, because those 2 will probably be home and dry by the time they play each other, and even then that's not a certainty. So they do have a tough run in Monaco.
And it's made them even more difficult by, we've mentioned about Lyon's form, but another team that are in reasonably good form and still hanging around is Rennes. I mean, Eric, they got another good win at the weekend, and fueled again by another spectacular performance from Ousmane Dembélé.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, as we saw down the stretch run with Monaco last season. It doesn't take so much in Ligue 1 to have just this spectacular young attacker who's playing without any real fear of failure. He's playing full of confidence, and we saw that last year with Monaco and the form of Anthony Martial and Bernardo Silva, and we saw how that saw Monaco surge into third. And Rennes are playing in exactly the same way. They're just really tossing the keys to this young player and saying go for it. They've got a veteran defense, an experienced manager, and they've got all the tools to do it. I think for the good of Ligue 1, I'd probably rather see them in the Europa League, just so the coefficient doesn't continue to get battered. But Ousmane Dembele in the Champions League, I mean, Rennes could be looking at 50 million for this player if he does lead this team into the Champions League. But even in the Europa League, I think it'd be great to see a sort of a different side. Rennes have certainly demonstrated that level of ambition in the recent past with the money that they've spent and the players that they brought in. It'd be nice to see them achieve it, even if it wasn't as they had initially planned, with Philippe Montagnier having been replaced. But it's good to see a team getting it done in Ligue 1 on the back of attacking talent. I mean, this league is too often dunned as one who relies on physicality and an overtly defensive approach. But to see a team want to take it to their opponents in an upright and attacking manner going forward, I think that's also a positive for the league's reputation and for the way that people conceive of Ligue 1.
Here's a fun fact about Rennes. They've got the second best attack in the league, 27 goals scored, so obviously behind PSG, and they're the third most prolific in front of goal, behind PSG again, and Lyon. But Lyon have scored only 2 goals more than Rennes. So they've really become this type of very adventurous outfit. Obviously, scoring 5 at Marseille does help, and then 3 against Haas. But I mean, I think over the last 8 games, the last time over the last 8 games, they've only had 1 game. It was at Caen where they were unable to score. I mean, they've been on really, really tremendous form in front of goal, and I mean, you can't really not make the connection with Montagnier sacking and Courbis's appointment. Well, it wasn't really an appointment; it was more to help Montagnier. But everybody knows now that it's not really how things went. So yeah, I mean, it really is great to see them play that type of football. And I've been extremely critical of them for not being very good at all. And they didn't even strengthen in January. I don't see did they buy anyone. I don't.
They bought Erasmus, but I mean, no one who's featured a lot. No.
Yeah, he hasn't really. Yeah. Not played that much. I mean, I'm thinking about more of a player that who gives in the middle of the pitch, like Grosicki, like Dembele, who can really create stuff. And this is a side that is missing a fully fit Paul George Entep for most of the season. So it just goes to show it could be quite scary to have Dembele if they can keep him, plus Entep with a full preparation in July to prepare him for next season. So it could be a really good season for Rennes. But again, Rennes, there's this type of side. I mean, they just don't show a lot of ambition whenever they get in the Europa League, even though they are having great seasons. It could be good fun. I mean, they're great fun to watch these days.
Yeah, and it's highlighted. But you mentioned the previous games. Since Courbis has taken over, those first 6 games they managed 3 goals. In the last 5, they've scored 16.
Yeah.
So it's a significant.
Amazing.
So that's what the influence does after a little bit of training. So let's round this up with your predictions then. So Philip, who finishes second, who finishes third, and who's fourth?
Lyon second, Monaco third, Rennes fourth.
How about you, Eric?
I agree.
Maybe
some hesitation surrounding Nice and Rennes in fourth. There's just because they play each other, and one result could really turn that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, especially because that's next weekend. This upcoming weekend, that'll be a really interesting game, and hopefully a really entertaining one as well. But I have to agree. I think Lyon will just about sneak that second place. Now they have that opportunity available to them. But two events at the other end of the table, the inevitable that seems to be on the cards for a week has happened as Troyes were officially relegated back to Ligue 2. They've just managed 2 wins all season. And it took them till 2016 to register the first one, so it's been a disappointing season for them, hasn't it, really, Philip?
Yes, but it's not completely over. I mean, they are heading back to Ligue 2, but we knew that since September. It's just been confirmed mathematically. This is really what is this really about is can Troyes becomes the worst side in the history of Ligue 1. So 6 games to go. They're 6 points off. It was Arles-Avignon. I don't remember the season. I've been saying this at least once a month for the whole season. So can they beat this record? And I'm thinking yes. Reading the reports, I didn't watch Troyes versus Angers. Reading the reports, it was quite an unlucky win. It was one of those games where it had 0-0 written all over it, and then Angers score late winner. That was basically the story of the game, and I believe it is the story of Troyes' season. But let's not be overly nice just because they got relegated officially on Saturday evening. Troyes have been absolutely terrible defending. It was shall we say, proven to the whole world when they lost 9-0 to PSG, which was incidentally when PSG won the league mathematically. It's just, I think they will have deserved. They will deserve to have this tag of Ligue 1's one of the worst ever sides, easily. Because it's not like they're hard to beat. It's not like they're playing when they're playing a system. It's tough to break them down. I mean, it has been that type of horrible season. Because to concede as many goals as PSG have scored is quite poor.
Well, Eric, we mentioned when we're in talks with Brendan and the like that we were really expecting an entertaining side that had really shone in Ligue 2 the season before. They've just never really seemed to hit any sort of heights this season, have they?
Yeah, I think it's a number of things. I think that some of the younger players, Jesse P and Corentin Jean, just really haven't come off as much as you would have liked. Jimmy Cabo certainly hasn't helped matters. An over-reliance on Benjamin Nive. I mean, let's face it, Nive's had a stellar career, but at the age of, what is he, 37, 36, I don't think that he can be relied upon to be the sort of catalyst that he's 39. I'm sorry, sort of catalyst that a team needs to succeed in Liga. I mean, we've seen this a little bit in the past that older players just didn't really have it. Evian with Barbosa a couple years ago. If you're over relying on a player that's that old in a league that's that driven by pace and physicality, it's just not going to go well. And players that are past it are not yet at it. In the cases of Jean and P, I just think that Troyes gambled a little bit too much in terms of what could lead to their success, and it just didn't come out for them. And I think that they, felt confident in their squad, but these players just weren't of a, weren't of a caliber that they needed to succeed in the top flight.
No, you mentioned Cabo. Sorry, a lot of people were actually relieved to see Cabo get transferred to Lorient because they could see that he could play, and that he was just not in the right environment. I think it was, like you say, a mix of a lot of things that went wrong, and it was just the climate that it was bad from the start. And that it was just written in stone that Troyes were going to have a rough season. And I think the manager got a lot of stick from the fans extremely early on, when the players probably needed a crowd behind them. They actually turned against the manager, which is always quite tough.
Is there any positives to take from this season?
Well, they'll probably do well in Ligue 2.
Well, that was the other question: can they really bounce back quickly? I know it's a very difficult question to answer because League Two is such of a pain of a league to get through.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think they'll be in the top six. I mean, I don't see Troyes as being one of those sides that they go down to Ligue 2. I mean, they do have a Ligue 2 budget. I mean, they're not rich by any stretch of the imagination. They're not used to having all this money from the league, and I think being a Ligue 2 side suits them very, very well. And I don't think the fans have all this great big folie de grandeur expectations of playing in Ligue 2 week in, week out, hosting the Marseille, the Lyon, the PSG, and going back to playing Niort, Laval, and other Sochaux, Red Star. There'll be, I mean, I think the club is probably not destined for that thing, because that's a bit harsh, that a bit lacks ambition, but that the club is fully fit to go back to this type of opposition and this type of management. So I would be very surprised, because you get those sides who have spent so much time in Ligue 1, they get relegated, and then in Ligue 2 they struggle, and you find them some years down the line in National and really near bankruptcy. I just can't see that happening for Troyes, if you see what I mean.
Well, Eric, just finally on Troyes, is there anyone capable of staying in Liga? And we know that Corentin Jean and Jesse P are likely to probably be in the division next season, but is there anyone else?
Well, they're Monaco's property, so they're on loan. Yes. I don't know. I mean, maybe somebody could take a flyer on Mamadou Dabo. He could be useful for Lyon at times in the past, but maybe Yohan Cour. I've only seen this team a couple times this year, but there were very few players who really stood out for me. Maybe Lossimi Karaboué. He's an experienced player who's spent time in the division before. I just really can't see it happening though.
No, it's difficult to pick out a team that.
Plus, I can't help but notice that Bordeaux's results. This has something to do with Troyes, because Bernard Denis used to be Troyes' goalkeeper. Can't help but notice that Bordeaux's results have improved because Bernard Denis is not playing in goal anymore. So this is me saying to the rest of the country that just don't buy that guy. He's rubbish. That's it.
He's 18, Philip. I mean, I think that's a little harsh.
I know, but I mean, playing Ligue 2 then.
No, I think that could do really well. And I personally, having seen Prieur play a handful of games after Carrasco's injury, going back to Bordeaux, I do think that Prieur is the better keeper. But yeah, it's a little harsh on an 18-year-old. That's all I'll say.
He's allowed to be harsh, is what I'll say. It adds to the spice of life. But we will move on, and best luck to Troyes next season in Ligue 2. So this week sees the return of the Champions League, and with it, PSG will play host to Manchester City at the Parc des Princes. It's another huge game for Laurent Blanc's men. Philip, how will they approach this one?
A bit. Still was a bit of pressure, I would say. So basically, PSG and Manchester City have this kind of connection with being rich and being this type of new sides winning league titles. PSG obviously have much less competition than Manchester City. But still, the pressure is very much on PSG. I think people do expect PSG to progress and form this quartet with Real Madrid, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich in the semi-finals, which would then lead on to another draw, and then whoever wins it, it's anyone's guess. So it is a bit very. Much like the Chelsea game, but Chelsea are not having a much poorer season than Manchester City are having. I personally think that Manchester City should be having a much better season than they are currently having, given the personnel And I saw that this weekend they won 4-0 at Bournemouth. I think this has much to do with Kevin De Bruyne. He's an absolutely fantastic player, one that probably should have been bought by PSG. Given the things he can do, playing in the hole behind Zlatan, he would have been great, or in the wings. I mean, the season he's had at Wolfsburg to warrant this move, he's been absolutely exceptional. And Manchester City, it's been shown with Manchester City as not being able to break teams down without him. That's of course from the little excerpts I've seen on Match of the Day and a couple of live games I've witnessed. So for me, he is very much the danger man. But as a whole, I would say that PSG have a stronger starting 11. I would say they have a stronger squad, and that they should still take the game very much comfortably. But again, this is a tricky business. This is a Champions League. Some very, very poor sides have won it, and it's from this stage on, anybody can win it.
Eric, the 4-1 win really at the weekend was a really good primer for this one as well, with Zlatan Ibrahimovic getting that hat trick. Paris Saint-Germain, was that the perfect preparation for this one and getting them right focused for Manchester City?
Yeah, absolutely. I think to have that sort of a result against a Nice team that, again, very much wanted the result in terms of their own chase for the Champions League. I think that I think you have to give credit to PSG for pardon me for getting that. I mean, they're, again, to play against a team that's going to be that motivated and to still, swat them aside with impunity. Again, you could cynically say it shows the gulf in class in Ligue 1. But on the whole, you got to give credit to Laurent Blanc for setting out his stall with a strong team. I mean, there were some omissions. Thiago Silva was late getting back from international duty, was not used, I should say, but they still didn't even miss a beat. It just shows the depth and strength of this team. It was fantastic.
As for the game coming up on Wednesday, who's really in form and should be really on it when they take on the Sky Blues, Philip?
Sorry?
Who's really in form for PSG at the moment? Who's going to be the one that can take them to that next level?
Turning to the man who has been the best player for PSG and of the season. Actually, it will always be Angel Di Maria. I'm not actually that clued up on injuries. I haven't really started preparing for this game. It's all still very, very far, even though it's in 2 days. But I'm not quite sure who's fit and who's not. But to me, Di Maria is and always will be key for this type of game for PSG.
I've not seen anything yet on Di Maria. It does seem like he possibly will be fit for this one.
But is Verratti fit?
That's the true question as well. I will take that one, but that's been the issue, hasn't it, Eric? Really for PSG at times, that centre midfield, is that still maybe a worry heading into this one?
Yeah, again, Pastore did not join Argentina on the weekend, so he's also a doubt. It's something they could tell just with the matches starting to really come thick and fast for PSG's. Again, this midfield's certainly capable of doing a job, but I think the defensive capabilities is what we have to look at. Obviously, Thiago Motta was taken off for Benjamin Stambouli with the result already assured at the weekend. He's going to be really important. Rabiot's going to be really important. But the drive and energy that Pastore or Verratti, one of the two, adds in midfield to give that attack just that much more thrust, I think is going to be really crucial. Again, City are not very solid defensively, so as much as PSG can get at them, it's going to be really important. And to have that one additional midfielder helping the attack, I think is going to be incredibly crucial.
And just to add to that, I've just seen that it's likely to be without Verratti and Pastore for the game. It does seem like they'll be announced tomorrow as being unavailable. Both of them, not even from the bench, which is quite a big miss that They'll hopefully put a smile on the face of our guest that's joining us at the moment as we welcome the editor of Manchester City fan site City Watcher, Lloyd Scragg. Welcome to the show, Lloyd.
Thank you very much for having me on.
So let's talk about the Sky Blues' form at the moment heading into this one. How have they been in recent weeks?
Well, our form has been terrible, to be honest. We managed to we smashed Bournemouth at the weekend 4-0, but that was our first win in a while. Obviously, we lost the Manchester derby before the international break, and before that it was 1 win in 5 in the league. So no, our form's not been good.
And heading into this one, it's another crucial tie for City in their European ambitions. Their form in Europe, at least this season, has been reasonable to watch. Can they continue that in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, to be honest, our best performances this year have come in Europe. Sevilla away, we played really, really well. Kiev away, we played really well. And it seems like with this being Pellegrini's final year and everyone knowing about that, there's a lot of pressure on him to perform, particularly in the Champions League, and the players seem to be motivated to do so as well. So I'd expect City to turn up. The big question mark for us is whether a few players will be fit. There's apparently Joe Hart and Yaya Toure are both very much 50-50 whether they'll be fit with late fitness tests. That could be crucial, especially Toure in the middle of midfield, because obviously I think personally PSG's main strength, I know Verratti is going to be ruled out, but the midfield of Motta, Matuidi, and I imagine Rabiot is better than what we've got, and that's what would worry me.
Yeah, and Toure would add to that. But let's talk about a man who did return at the weekend in Kevin De Bruyne. I mean, he's really key to adding that extra depth of creativity to Manchester City, isn't he?
Oh, he's absolutely brilliant. We've missed him. We've missed him so much. He's such a good footballer. He just does everything with such a precision. It sounds odd to say, but he's just such a efficient footballer. I think he's got 13 goals, 12 assists this season, and he hasn't played for the last 2.5 months. So, yeah, he literally came in at the weekend, made such a difference. I think the only thing with him is whether or not he'll start after obviously being out for so long and playing a couple of days ago. But I imagine Pellegrini will probably roll the dice and we'll see him from the start.
Yeah, I think with possibly the league title out of the way, I think they might roll the dice on hopefully him being another catalyst again, because I thought he was excellent again against Bournemouth, and I knew that it was going to be a good signing as soon as they bought him. What area of weakness have City got at the moment? I mean, the defensive pairing has been an issue for the last couple of weeks. Do you think that's something that worries you and that PSG might exploit?
Oh, absolutely. Central defence. Without Vincent Kompany, we're not the same team. It'll be Mangala and Otamendi on Wednesday, which is better than having Demichelis. But Mangala's still prone to a mistake every game. So I'd say centre half, and also without Toure, as much as he is maligned in central midfield, obviously PSG will play the 3. We've only got 2 central midfielders available in Fernando and Fernandinho. So I think that's another area of weakness as well.
Yeah, and especially with those two being slightly more defensive minded than Yaya Toure, it does limit Manchester City's options really. Heading to the game in France, obviously an away leg first, what do Man City really need to do to win this 2-legged tie?
I think the key for us is to get an away goal, because if we get an away goal, if we keep it, I mean, 1-1 would be absolutely brilliant. 2-1 as well, I'd be quite happy with. PSG are a fantastic side. I think the key is to get an away goal, and then because for the next leg, Kompany will be fit, Hart will definitely be fit, Toure will definitely be fit. So if we can get an away goal and preferably a draw, but if not 2-1, then I would fancy us back in Manchester to outscore PSG.
And that will be the interesting one. But Philip, what concerns you about Manchester City? Is it Aguero by any chance?
No, it's De Bruyne. No, to me, it always has been De Bruyne this season. I was actually made a very rash prediction on a football forum, saying that Manchester City will walk it, because at the beginning of the season they won
5 in a row.
5 in a row, exactly,
Yeah.
without conceding any goals. and scoring something like 2,
A
3,
lot of
6,
goals.
8,
Yeah.
8, 10, 11 goals in 5 games. That's more than two a game, and of course that didn't happen. Injuries, I don't know exactly what happened, but like I said, with the squad that Manchester City have, they really shouldn't be, struggling to make top 4, which is what is actually happening. I mean, they are losing to Manchester United at home. No offense, Nathan.
I was happy
And
about it, but we'll
they
keep that quiet.
and West Ham are just 3 points behind them with just 7 games to go. It really is not to me. This squad really should be never should have let Leicester go so far in front, because now basically the title's dead, and I'm not even sure they can even make third now. It's I really am at a loss. I've always been a big fan of Pellegrini's, but at Manchester City, he seemed to me have this obsession with 4-4-2, which I really never got, really, because he is a fine tactician. He is a fine manager, but he just keeps sticking with that 4-4-2, and I just don't get it. He hasn't played that a lot lately, I don't think. Again, I don't watch Manchester City live every weekend, but I really just don't get how such an intelligent manager can keep playing the 4-4-2. That to me, yeah, that to me is the main worry. Going back on who worries me is De Bruyne, because from De Bruyne will come everyone. Everyone will come Yatu, will come Silva, will come Aguero. So he's the main worry for me.
Yeah, and Eric, I mean, this tie is set up quite perfectly of two teams that have maybe nothing else to play for now other than the Champions League, or at least that's both their holy grail this season. How do you see this one playing out?
I'd say PSG edging it, maybe on away goals. I have a lot of worries, as Lloyd rightly said, about the injury issues that Manchester City do have, and I do think that PSG on the whole have shown that they can adapt when players have gone down. Rabiot, for me, has improved in leaps and bounds this season. I think he's got a chance to be really the key player in this tie.
Yeah, personally, it's a difficult one to call. I mean, I always worry about the injury to Verratti because how important he can be to that PSG midfield. Even though they do have a lot of quality there, everyone's mentioned Matuidi, Mata, Rabiot, like you say, has improved, but Verratti just gives them that extra little bit that none of the other ones quite have, I think, and that's always a worry. But at the same point, if Yaya Toure is not playing, then Manchester City's midfield isn't quite as strong as it is. So it's an interesting game. Lloyd, what do you think? Let's get a prediction for this. What for the first leg?
To be honest, I'm completely weirdly optimistic. I've got a feeling we might actually turn up, and I can see a draw 1-1 or 2-2, probably 2-2.
2-2 will be at least a good game. Philip, what's your prediction?
3-1 to PSG.
Eric?
2-1.
I think I might go for a 1-1 actually in this one. I think De Bruyne coming back at this time is just ideal time for Manchester City to get someone of that quality back, and I can't see either side not conceding either.
Do we think there will be a backlash? So if Lloyd, if Manchester City do go out of this, and no matter what the manners, score, or anything, do you think? I mean, what will Pellegrini's record look like actually if Manchester City do get knocked out of the Champions League? I mean, would it be regarded as a failure to be knocked out at this stage of the competition, or is it progress, and does this set the road nice and easy for Guardiola?
That's a really good question. I mean, to be honest, Pellegrini's legacy is kind of, I would say, slightly ruined now amongst City fans because of our league form over the last 18 months has been dreadful. Obviously, this is the furthest we've got in the Champions League, but I think the fans, to be honest, I mean, the City fans aren't that enamoured with the Champions League yet, probably because we haven't done that well in it. But I think if we were knocked out by PSG across 2 legs, there wouldn't be too many grumblings. But I think Pellegrini's legacy has been ruined by our awful league form. But I don't think the fans would be too bothered. Well, no, obviously they'd be angry. I actually do think with Verratti out and De Bruyne coming back, we've got a good chance. But I don't think the fans will be too pissed off, so to speak.
But is the expectation actually? Are there more of people like you expecting Manchester City to challenge, or is the whole of the place saying, okay, we got PSG, if we lose, well,
I think if we had our full team fit and we were in good form, i.e. we were right at the top of the table and Company and Hart and Torre were all playing, then I think...
No, I agree. I mean, if you had your full team
confident.
fit, I certainly wouldn't be predicting 3-1.
Yeah, but I think with our current form, with the injuries, I think the fans regard us as underdogs. But equally, we've still got Sergio Aguero, we've still got David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. There's still a lot of good players in our ranks. So I think the fans will be hopeful, but that optimism I think will be tempered by a slight bit of worry at the sight of Ibrahimovic and Di Maria running at our defence.
I think that's always the right attitude to go with it. I think when you get to this stage of the competition, if you're playing a good team that ends up knocking you out, I think you simply say hard luck and you deal with it. And thank God that you didn't go down out in the group stages to the likes of Wolfsburg and the likes like that. But never mind. Thank you.
Exactly.
I'll just keep bitterly swallowing that one. That's it. Thanks, Lloyd, for joining us. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Lloyd_Scrag. And try and enjoy the game on Wednesday if you can.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Right, we move on to our final talking point of this week, and it's someone we mentioned already, and it's Lille's excellent form in the last couple of weeks. We all feared for them a couple of months ago, but their last 6 games, they've picked up 5 wins. They've sent them to the lofty heights of 7th in the table. It's been a spectacular turnaround, Eric. How has it happened?
I think Antonetti's just, pardon my language, but giving them a kick up the ass. This is a team that obviously had talent. I mean, and they've always been defensively sound, going back quite a few years now, and just to have that happen and to have the loanees that they brought in come off. I mean, Adair's scored a brace the weekend. He looks a real find. I mean, I'm not saying he's back to his Braga best, but he's done really well. These young players are getting more of a chance as well. I'm looking at the likes not only of Boufal, but Ronnie Lopez arriving on loan. I think has been really influential as well. Lenny Nangis, and as well as the youngster Adama Sumaoro. I think that it's just really a lot of the right constellations of things. Ibrahim Amadou is another player who I think has really come on in the second half of the season. Antoinetti's giving some of these younger players, and again, they're not that young. Amadou and Samaro are 22, 23, but to give them a chance to be involved from the start and to sort of press on and sort of move away from that aging midfield trident of Beaumont, Mavuba, and Obadi. Last year, Idris Gueye was a part of that as well, but again, they were too much of a piece, and I think that now midfield's a lot more dynamic, and defense is still as solid as it was, and that's given the team a solid enough base to let the likes of Boufal and Adair and Lopez go and do what they do. It's just really, I think, Antoinetti coming in, giving this team a holistic look at what its resources are, what they need, and just getting the best out of them. It's been really impressive to see.
Yeah, Flip, we've mentioned that they're a very good defensive outfit all the way through the season, but had struggled to score goals. Is them finally finding some attacking now, just giving that bit of an extra edge?
I do reckon that on what's his name, Antonetti. Mm-hmm. It really is not about being a good manager or being a bad manager, because I do believe that Hervé Renard has his qualities as well. But I think he has lost the habit of managing a club. He's probably spent too much time being an international manager. Antonetti just knows how to win games with this type of side. I think it's as simple as that, and that it is important to be defensively sound at the back. I mean, Lille were defensively sound last season under Girard, but they were absolutely boring as hell to watch. This at the start of this season, they haven't been quite good, but Renard did take he took a few chances. He took a few plays from Ligue 2, and they were adapting, and they weren't defending too badly actually, but the attacking it just did not work. And I think Antonetti is, I don't know, he has something, he has the experience which he gained at Bastia and at Rennes to make this team, being a bit more happy together. I mean, this is what I'm seeing. I don't see Idea as being just a wonderfully gifted centre forward just like that with that goal he scored at Nantes. It's just that they just strike me as a side being quite happy to be together and to be on the same pitch. And usually when you have that type of atmosphere, they win. And they are very, very hard to beat. So that's 4 wins on the bounce, just 1 goal conceded in those 4 games, and Lille could actually have a shout at the Europa League because of being that type of a club. It just goes to show you what kind of league we've been experiencing this season, because Lille did lose at home to Troyes. In I think it was December. They were in the relegation zone late November, beginning of December, and now they find themselves 7th, thanks to just that kind of run of form. It's also why I'm extremely wary of this type of sides like Rennes entering Europe, because they can be extremely poor for 3/4 of the season, but when they turn it on for a quarter, they make Europe. And well, you've got 2 games. You've got 2 games to play in a week, and this season you were struggling to contend with 1 game. It was hard enough as it was. So, I'm still of the opinion that Lille just Antonetti has restored this joie de vivre, shall we say, of Lille.
Yeah, and you mentioned that cluster of teams. I mean, Lille, back when they lost 3-0 to Montpellier at the end of February, they were 15th, and 4 games later, and they're 7th. That seems to be how the league's going this season. But what's really surprised me in the last few weeks is the form of Adair. I mean, obviously on loan from Swansea, and he'd never really done anything at all of note with the Welsh team at any point of me seeing him play fairly regularly. Except from maybe this season. Certainly last season he had his spots, but I don't know what Antonetti's done to him. I don't know what he's been feeding him, but 4 goals and 2 assists in 7 appearances is actually really, really good return from a loan signing that I thought was just a punt to this. It must have been a Lille sending out an SOS and begging for any striker that was available, and
that's what it looked like at the time.
That's what it looked like, and
yeah.
He's got 4 goals and 2 assists in 7 games. I've no idea where it's come from, but it's accidentally almost a masterstroke of a move. But you mentioned it briefly there, Philip. I want to ask Eric that question. Could they sneak into those Europa League places? I mean, Saint-Etienne are relatively in different form. They seem to trade a win and a loss each week. So, is there a chance if they keep this run going that they could get there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Lille have been a very inconsistent team until the recent past, but I think they sort of put that behind them, and they've certainly got the chance to kick on. I mean, they've got Monaco this weekend. They're away to Ajaccio. They've got, and then they've got the Coupe de la Ligue final. But then they've got Angers at home. They're away to Lorient. They're home at Guingamp. Yeah, they've got, aside from potentially Monaco, a relatively easy run of fixtures against teams that don't really have that much to play for at this point in the season. And then they have Saint-Etienne away on the final match day, and they could, that could be another 3 points right there. They've got to just maintain their position from now until then. And I think, provided Lille can hold on to some of these players, I know Adair and Ronnie Lopez are on loan. Provided Lille can hold on to Buffal, I'd like to see them back in the Europa League personally. I think that they were last season when they were in that group with Everton and Wolfsburg. They were much too negative and much too dour and not very exciting to watch. But again, that was that team that needed a lot of restructuring, just being over reliant on that three-man midfield that was very negative. And yeah, they were great defensively, but six scoreless draws isn't going to get you out of the group stages of the Europa League. So it'd be great to see them take another chance with Antonetti at the helm. I mean, he's proved for me that he's generally a pretty solid manager. He just hasn't had, to me, been given the resources to succeed. And I think Lille is a club with a bit more means, or maybe if they do sell Buffal, they can bring in a couple of, I wouldn't say superlative talents, but more dynamic attacking talent. They brought in Boteak last summer, so they're obviously a club with some means in terms of Ligue 1 as a whole. But Yassine Benzio is another one. But maybe Adair likes it here. Maybe his move can be made permanent. Maybe they can convince Monaco to reloan Lopez for an entire season. So there's a lot of positives here, and I think for me, Lille are the type of club, given the size of their stadium and the previous success they've had, that I think Ligue 1 needs to have doing well. And I for one would love to see them make a return to Europe and to pass up Saint-Etienne, who frankly, especially after being eliminated from the competition, really don't deserve to be back in Europe.
And exploring on the points you made there, Eric, do you think that they can build on this for next year, Philip? I mean, these late surges of form in the end of the season can. I don't want to make too rash of a comparison, but we've seen Leicester City turn a decent run of end form into a good second season. So, is there something that they got the little pieces there that they can make a better future for themselves?
I think they'll have a better season overall, but I'm not quite sure if this could materialize in some European surge. I think a lot depends also whether Lille get European football next season or not. If they have all the 6 Europa League games to contend with next season, it will make much of a difference on their league form. But it will be better. I'm pretty certain that it will be better than this season. This season has been a transitional season, and Renard has basically suffered from all this. Shall we say? I'm not going to say he was unlucky because I mean with that squad, Antonetti managed to make them not world beaters, but one of the best form sides in Ligue 1 over the last 10 games. I think they are. Yeah, they're like second. They're in better form than PSG, which says quite a lot. Only Lyon are in better form than them in the last 10 games. But I think they will be better, and I fully expect them to be in the final third come the end of next season, depending on, of course, on how they strengthen. But I have no doubt that Antonetti will help them do that properly.
And we mentioned that keeping someone like Adair might be key to that if he carries on this form, and I don't think that will be too much of a difficult conversation with Swansea, really. But you mentioned, Eric, there that if they can keep Buffal, so I'm going to ask that question: can they keep him?
Given the financial issues that surround their stadium, I don't think so. Unfortunately, I had outlined this in an article regarding the sale of Anthony Martial early in the season. That Lille have a really onerous payment to make on their stadium to the city of Lille, or the arrondissement. I'm not sure what the exact nomenclature is for the governmental body that oversees it, but Lille owe them something to the tune of €7.5 million a year. And in order to finance that, if the stadium's not consistently being sold out and has extra European matches, Lille really need to have a significant amount of player turnover to make up for that. And for that reason, especially, I don't really see Buffal sticking around.
No, and when you've got... Sorry, carry on, Philip.
Has anyone heard of whatever happened to Baptiste Guillaume and Serhou Guirassy, who were bought this summer for Lille? Have they been loaned out? Have they been sold?
Yeah, Guirassy's on loan in League. No, to a Belgian side. I'm blanking on where. Guillaume's still with the team. He doesn't play that often.
No. Okay, because I mean, they did buy Eder because they were looking for strikers, but those strikers, they did have strikers because they bought them this summer. It was Hervé Renard, who bought them. And
I
that
think they're
massively
both
backfired.
fantastic talents, but again, they're both very young.
Yeah, obviously. Guillaume, I think Guillaume has a bit of experience under his belt, hasn't he? He's played for us for the last 5 years or something.
Yeah, same with Guirassy. Guirassy was great at the under 19 European Championships this last summer. I thought he looked a very smart buy from Lille. So there may be ready-made replacements for Adair.
Yeah, and just to confirm, Guirassy's on loan at Auxerre. He scored 3 goals in 5 appearances, so at least he's playing.
That's
At
good.
least he's doing okay in League 2, and that, like you say, if they've got another option, if they can buy Adair, because I can't imagine him being too expensive. Adding their options, it's not a bad thing for a club that might be back on the up.
They could even do a swap there for Buffal.
Swansea would chop your hand off for that, I think.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, that's all for us this week. My thanks to, I guess, Lloyd. My thanks to Eric and Philip and all of you listening at home. A bientôt and goodbye.